Hello and welcome to Anna's Travel Talk. I'm your host, Anna Hoy. And today I have my honored guest, TJ McAvoy from Globus Family Brands. And have you been thinking about where you can travel to right now and you're looking to travel closer to home? Well, you're in for a treat because today we're going to explore everything that Globus has to offer in close to home, undiscovered North America. So please join me in welcoming TJ. Welcome, TJ.
Thanks, Anna. Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be with you and talk about our Globus products.
Yes, I'm excited to learn all about the experience and then the Globus difference.
Well, sounds great. So let's get started. We'll go over more specifically our undiscovered North America. And where did our undiscovered North America come from? Let's take a look at the history of that. So in 2018, our top land selling destination is Italy. So in 2018, we realized everybody had been to Italy, going to Rome, Florence, and Venice, but then they wouldn't go back. So we decided to explore the more intimate destinations that travelers typically don't go to. So we came up with 20 new cities in Italy, little quaint, beautiful towns. And in 2018, our sales were up 41% in Italy.
Wow.
Just to show you the popularity of our Undiscovered series. Then in 2019, our second biggest land producer historically is Britain. And Britain, when we came out with that, it was a 46% increase. So everybody that has been to the main destinations, well, now we got something else to offer. And so in 2020, we came out with Undiscovered Mediterranean. Obviously, we know what happened there, but those are still available. But we're going to dig a little deeper into Undiscovered North America. And with everything that's going on right now, we've had a ton of interest in this, and this is booking up quickly. So let's take a look at Globus. So why is touring the best way to discover North America? Well, obviously the logistics. So we take care of the hotels, the transportation. You're actually on vacation doing and experiencing these things instead of driving. Another one, when people try to do a driving vacation with family, the driver misses about 80% of that vacation.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, absolutely. And personally, for me, I've traveled with a significant other many times, and it actually helps avoid family fights. You know, as I'm driving, why don't we stop and ask? I'm like, no, I'll find it. Well, it eliminates all those fights. You just sit back, relax, and enjoy Globus.
So what I understand about Globus, I'm sorry to interrupt, is that Globus has been around since 1928 and you offer the escorted tours and you've curated all these tours. So the whole package, it's like a one-stop shop. So as you were mentioning earlier, instead of trying to plan out your whole vacation from start to finish and look at where you want to go, what you want to do and try to plan it, it's already kind of been planned out for you in an escorted tour that Globus has curated. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. That saves you hours and hours of time, and it saves you exponentially money-wise if you had to piece that all together. But you're exactly right. We do operate our own tours.
And so talk to me a little bit about why do people tour? I was reading on your website that you have the do versus see and personal growth and safety. Can you expand on that a little bit? I mean, why do people go on these tours?
Well, I mean, it's scientifically proven people that travel are happier. So, you know, when people get to experience life and go see the world, it brings them happiness. And we realize experiences are what really makes you rich, not actual money.
Ooh, well said.
So with us, yeah. So, you know, once you go to these destinations, you could spend half your time standing in line or sitting in line. So we take all that and take, you know, the best of everything we do into one package, like you said, a one-stop shop.
Yeah, what I love about vacationing is, of course, what you mentioned about the experience, but I love creating the memories. You know, there's nothing like thinking back to when you went on, you know, such and such vacation and feeling like you did when you were there. reliving those experiences again. So the memories, I think, are one of my favorite part of vacationing.
Absolutely. And to piggyback off of that, what I love to do is I take a picture of what we have that day, like what is on the itinerary that day. And as I go along and take the pictures, and then once we get to the next day, take a picture of that day. That way I could put it in my memory as, oh, I experienced this on that day. And that helps keep track of those memories, because it's always great looking at those photos and remembering where you had just gone.
Yeah, that's a nice pro tip. Thank you for sharing that.
Oh, you bet. My pleasure. All righty. Okay, so why travel with Globus? So you look at all these bullet points at the bottom. I'll go through these quickly, but the included excursions and inclusions. So with Globus, we're going to give you all the must-see sites. So everything that you go to a particular destination, we're going to include all that. We're going to include, obviously, all logistics. That's always included. But also, we include breakfast every day. That's standard. We include some dinners. And with that, when we don't include dinners, we do like to get you back to the hotel to experience on your own. And we'll touch on that here in a minute.
Yeah, and I like the flexibility. Sorry to interrupt, but I like the flexibility that you get to have some planned meals, and then you get to kind of venture off on your own and have a little bit of your own experience in addition to being part of the escorted tour. So that's
yeah,
absolutely what I enjoy.
Yeah, and that's a great point too. And just to kind of piggyback off that again is, so we don't really include lunches very, very rarely, because what's happening is you're going to be in that heart of the destination doing sightseeing. So when we'll give you, 2-3 hours or how much time we have to explore on your own, because you can go get lunch on your own as well.
Fabulous.
So thanks for pointing that out. That's great.
You got it.
Top-notch transportation. So we have all the newest coaches. We don't keep them more than a couple years, and we actually take out seats for more legroom. Hotels always in the heart of the destination. So, for example, when I went, kind of like what you were saying, Anna, where you can kind of go to that restaurant you want to see, or when you have that free time, go to that museum that you want to go to. So those hotels are close enough that you're in the heart of that destination. So you're either right by an Uber or public transportation, or you're within a block or two walking to that.
So really easy access to everything that you want to do and see.
Absolutely, absolutely. VIP access. So we call this the happy lines. So never wait again in line. And like we were talking about earlier, Anna, that you'll spend, 50% of your time waiting in lines. You don't have to do that with Globus, any of the Globus brands. And then freedom. So getting back to what you were saying earlier, where you can go explore and go to the restaurant you want. So we build that free time in, because we know through all of our studies and doing this for 90 plus years that people want that freedom to explore on their own.
Yeah, so you mentioned the 90 plus years, so that's probably one of the reasons that you guys stand out as a global leader, because of that 90 plus years experience.
Absolutely, yes. And our, with those years comes all the great contracts we get with all the vendors and sightseeing. So we get the best times to enter these various sightseeing tours.
Because of your relationships that you have throughout the years. That's awesome.
Correct, absolutely. Yeah. And then number one experts, our tour directors and our local guides are unmatched. I've been on 5 different Globus tours, and I always hang out with the tour director, and they takes me to some of the most off the beaten path or local favorites, things like that. And then all of our local guides, we subcontract out for experts, people that are experts in that area. So you always get the best information while you're on our tours.
Yeah, and I like that. I like to, when I go to a destination, of course, I like to see some of the touristy things, but I love the off the beaten path stuff that you wouldn't normally know about. If you've traveled to, let's say, Italy, you mentioned that tour, you might not know to go here and there, but you get like sort of an insider tip with the tour guide. So I think those things are a lot of fun.
Well, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So here's something that is exclusive to Globus. It's a local favorite. I kind of mentioned it on the previous slide. So a local favorite is exactly what you would think. It's what the locals like to do, what they experience on their free time and like to do. For example, we have a chuck wagon cookout in Jackson. That's a local favorite. Or we can do a lobster bake in Bar Harbor. So those local favorites, as you're looking through our itineraries, easy for me to say.
Say that 3 times fast.
Exactly. So you'll see that logo up in the top right-hand corner, the local favorites. So that, is exclusive to Globus.
Nice.
And then I know we went over this, but just to point out, VIP access happy lines. So we're not going to take you in a ski lift everywhere, but just to prove a point, if we're going to the top of a mountain, you don't have to wait in line for this chairlift or ski lift. You hop right on, you get right to the sightseeing, no wasting time.
Love it.
All right. So now we're digging in and getting to the fun stuff. Some of the itineraries that we have for undiscovered North America. Some more of our off the beaten path itineraries that we were talking about. So with this one, it's the Bourbon, Bridles, and Bluegrass. So you're going to sip some bourbon, go to a horse farm, and listen to some bluegrass. What's better than that? So let's take a look at this itinerary. Before I get started, see the map on the left? Many of you know this, but just as far as the direction of the itinerary. So the green bubble is where you start. Red bubble is where you finish.
Okay.
And then obviously the white bubbles, you make stops. And then the black bubbles with the number like Lexington, that means you're 2 nights in Lexington.
Okay.
So that way you can kind of know, and I know you already know this, Anna, but I always love touching on that just to make sure as they're looking through these itineraries.
Yes, thank you.
Some of the great highlights on this one. So the bourbon tasting in Frankfurt is amazing. In Lexington, you go to a horse farm, which I love animals. It just melts my heart thinking about it. I haven't been there, but that is definitely on my bucket list. And obviously the Biltmore in Asheville is a big highlight. And then you finish in Nashville. And I don't know about you, Anna, but I know whenever I go on tour, I always look in the start and the end cities of that itinerary because I think about doing extra nights and kind of exploring on my own, and also so I'm rested for the first day of the itinerary. So I immediately saw this, and Louisville. So I'm a big baseball fan. So I would go there extra, go to Louisville Slugger, the factory and the museum. They have the world's largest baseball bat, if that means anything to anybody.
Nice,
but
I'm
for
sure.
me, but yeah, I always look at those things too. So as we're going through, just kind of think about those things, because those are destinations you could book extra nights through, Anna, and really explore that beginning and end city as well.
And just a quick question, these tours that we're looking at today, these are all available to purchase, and there's no blockout dates, or they've not been affected by the current pandemic. These are up and running open tours that you can book and go on now. Is that correct?
That's correct. So
yes, because I know a lot of my clients are looking, where can I go right now? So these are some awesome ideas of where people can venture off to.
Yeah, so these are going to be available for 2021. Nothing is going to operate on this for this year, but early 2021.
So start booking now for 2021. Gotcha.
Absolutely. And this is actually, of all of our products, our North America is doing the best. So definitely get with Anna as soon as possible and start looking at those.
And then last question for you on these tours. Are they smaller tours? Like how many guests per tour? Is there a limit or minimum or maximum?
So that's a great question, especially now. So historically, it's always been a maximum of 44 passengers. So it's a very fluid situation, obviously, with the pandemic right now. So we're going to go off CDC guidelines and those state guidelines. So it most likely will be 40 to 44, but we got to be ready to pivot. So we've also looked at the options of doing 2 smaller coaches and maybe doing tandem, like 20 to 20 passenger coaches. So that's going to be those things that we kind of work through as as we get a vaccine and, people can travel more freely.
Gotcha. Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that.
Oh, you bet. No problem. All right. So let's take a look at another one here, the Lost Canyons of the Southwest. Beautiful, beautiful area. So some of the highlights on this one. So you see it starts in Phoenix, ends in Las Vegas, 2 great cities. But some of the favorites on this, you get a beach ride in Sedona. And another local favorite I want to mention, do you see Williams in the middle of that map with the train? So my friends, 2 of my very dear friends went on this that I work with, and they explained this excursion to me. So they get on this old style train, and there's a staged train robbery, and there's a bunch of cowboys and singers, and so then they roll into the Grand Canyon. So it's a ton of entertainment, really unique experience. And that's an example of one of our local favorites. And they were even telling me that when they got back, their hotel was only 2 blocks from the town. So they were able to explore on their own. So that's another Globus feature that we carry over no matter where it's at, whether it's in Williams or any city. We're always going to be in that heart of that destination.
That sounds fun. A couple other great highlights. Obviously, there's Crater National Landmark, but you'll get a tour of the Hoover Dam, and then it ends in Vegas. And me personally, I would do a couple extra nights in Phoenix to play some golf. So I always like to look at those like we're talking about. Extend the vacation a little bit.
Correct. All right, you ready for the next one?
I'm ready.
All righty. And this is one of what we call our special events. So every year in October, we have the Albuquerque Balloon Festival. So we have various special events that you would want to look at. For example, we also have like the Calgary Stampede, things like that, where we just offer during a specific event. We have several hundred people going on this. So, multiple motor coaches. So you go to Albuquerque, and you also, for 3 nights, Santa Fe is for 2 nights. I've been to Santa Fe, beautiful, quaint, artsy town. Wonderful place to visit. So keep an eye out for those. And with it being 6 days or 5 nights, you can also tack that on to another tour doing a back-to-back if you want to explore longer.
Got it.
All right, Southern Charm. So this is beautiful, beautiful itinerary. So you have the Oak Line streets. This is going to start and end in Atlanta. You'll also stay in Charleston and Savannah. The country Southern culinary experience is unbelievable. I've had a few friends and colleagues, again, being in travel, that this was their favorite itinerary they've been on. So I always like to share this one because not too many of the other vendors explore this area as well as we do.
So if you're a foodie, this might be one for you. If you enjoy the culinary experience, this would be a good one to look at.
Absolutely. Great call. Definitely. And then this is near and dear to my heart as well. Let me move this real quick. So this historic trains of the Old West. So this is actually where I live, Denver. So you start and end in Denver. The beauty is incredible. So if you do this itinerary, just let Anna know, and I'll take you out for some sightseeing when you're here on your pre-night in Denver.
Oh, nice bonus.
Yeah, exactly. Some of my favorites. So Glenwood Springs, we have these hot natural springs, also where they produce a lot of wine. Beautiful mountainous area. And then this one also goes down to Santa Fe, like we were talking about on the last itinerary. But a lot of great mountains and beautiful scenery in Colorado. And after you book with Anna, she can get advice from me to pass along to you as well.
Thank you. That's very sweet of you.
Oh, you bet. Oh, let me go back here. I just want to make a quick point. See that on the right-hand side of the picture, left of the map, the Go Parks tours?
Yes.
So we're really proud of this partnership with the national parks. So every time you book with Globus and it's one of our Go Parks tours, we make a donation to the Go Parks Foundation on every single passenger. So we're all about goodwill and keeping our great sites beautiful and clean and healthy.
That's amazing. I like that a lot.
All right, so now let's check out Cosmos. So with Globus, how we talked about all the sightseeing included, all the must-see sites. Well, Cosmos is more of our budget touring. So really you actually have more free time because you kind of pick and choose your excursions. So a lot of the Globus excursions become optional excursions on Cosmos. But we find there's many experienced travelers that like Cosmos as well because it gives them that free time to explore. So a couple of the highlight, main things obviously are smart hotels. So we're going to be great locations. They're not necessarily going to be essentially located as Globus, but you're always going to be within one transfer from that heart of the destination. So we'll always put it near public transportation or easy ways to get around. Innovative itineraries. So we actually have some very unique Cosmos itineraries that you'll see as you're looking through our programs. Just the right sightseeing, like I was talking about. We have a balance of free time and inclusions to where you can explore on your own or sign up for optional excursions. Obviously, the motor coaches are a big part. Same motor coaches as Globus, so very comfortable and relaxing. And those are kind of the highlights of Cosmos. So we'll take a look at some of those undiscovered North America itineraries.
Perfect.
All right. So exploring the Pacific Northwest. This is an area I have not been too much other than flying through, but it's definitely something I want to check out. So when I see this tour, I think of craft beers and coffee. Because coffee Starbucks was started in Seattle.
Right.
And then Oregon this whole area is really well known for their craft beers.
Yes.
And Denver, the reason I really want to go and what gets me thinking about doing this one in the next couple of years is I'm really into craft beer, and Denver has a very similar scene that way. So I look at this and it's definitely a beautiful area. A lot of people I know have been there and they highly recommend it. And also Crater National Park is a big highlight on this one.
Yeah, I have a brother that lives in Oregon, and so I get to hear about all of the fun stuff to do in all these areas that you have highlighted, Medford and Bend, etc. So I have been there several times, and you'll love it. I definitely think you should go.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you. I'll reach out to you for advice.
Yeah,
before I head out.
I'll connect you with my bro when you go to Oregon.
Yes, I love it. I love it. All righty. Be just 1 second.
Now, Globus, to change subjects real quickly, you guys do national park destinations as well, right? Has that been a big theme this summer? I know a lot of my clients have been wanting to hit the national parks. Do you guys do that as well?
Yes, I'm glad you asked. So yeah, we do basically all the national parks. And the great thing is we actually stay in the national parks. For example, in the Grand Canyon, we will actually stay in the canyon, not on the outskirts. Awesome. Yeah, I'm glad you brought up the national parks. Yes, definitely check that out. And the great thing is there's a lot of pent up demand because a couple years ago, when there was a 100th anniversary, it filled up so quick. So now all those people that missed out will be able to go back. And so we offer more in the national parks than most any other operator.
Yes. And I did know that about you.
Awesome.
Oh, this mining, you showed mining. That's right up my husband's alley. He wants to do this.
Okay, so let's see. Oh, are we talking on
the mining for memories, which I saw on your next screen.
Oh, yes, absolutely, absolutely. Mining for memories. So yes, Alaska and the Yukon. What a beautiful, beautiful area. So let's take a look. So when you think of seeing wildlife and basically everything you'd want to see, you'll see it on this itinerary. So the Yukon Territory, which has many, many ecosystems. So you'll see an impressive variety of wildlife, whether it's moose, bears, eagles, muskrats, everything you want to see. Another huge highlight on this is the Fairbanks to Denali National Park. And then you'll also take a glacier cruise where you get to do some whale watching and actually walk on a glacier.
Ooh.
And so I know probably a lot of you out there have done the cruises, the Alaskan cruises, which are wonderful. Think about doing land because you do miss quite a bit land-wise. So we have a ton to offer in Alaska, or even better, Anna can book you a back-to-back Alaska cruise and then tack on land as a back-to-back. So always consider that when doing the cruise and tacking on the land part. All right, let's take a look at our next one. Oh, I just want to go over this real quick too, because our child age used to be a minimum of 8. So now we allow children up to 5 years, as young as 5 years old. So this, if you want to do a multi-generation holiday, then you could take, grandparents, parents, children. So that's really going to open the doors to bringing more of your family and having a family vacation. And we do have quite a few family-friendly vacations. So always check with Anna on those, because she'll definitely know. And I could always stay in contact with Anna as well when she has those questions.
Yes, I have noticed that there is quite a lot of interest in multi-gen travel, and I really like it. I think all the different generations traveling together is a fabulous memory-making experience. So thank you for sharing that.
Oh, you bet. Obviously, with what we're dealing with right now with the pandemic, so we've come up with various protocols. So this is a fluid situation, obviously. These are getting updated as different guidelines are getting updated. So Anna will always have access to this data. So whenever you need that, just check with Anna, whether it's for Globus family of brands or any other product you're interested in. She is connected with all the vendors. And trust me, our number one concern is always the health and safety of our clients. So we always have these in writing, and Anna can get those for you if you want to take a look at those.
Great. Thank you for that.
Oh, you bet. Welcome back and peace of mind credits. So for all of you that unfortunately we had to cancel your itinerary for 2020, we offered a peace of mind credit where we're giving you a credit up to $250, depending on the brand. So you have access to those, and Anna will be able to apply those to our bookings for any of those that did take the peace of mind credits. Also, don't forget the welcome back. So that's our repeat traveler program, where we offer up to $250 discounts per person. So Anna will also, if you book with her through the Globus family of brands before, she can access those as well to apply to your booking.
That's
so
a nice
don't forget
perk.
about those.
I really like that. That's a really nice perk.
Absolutely. All right. I'd be remiss if I didn't go over our promotions. So right now you'll save 10% on 2021 Globus North America and Europe vacations. So contact Anna as soon as possible, because, you know, obviously our Europe isn't doing great right now, but still booking, but our North America is really holding up for us, which is great. So that's good through November 9th. Then we have the save $100 on 2021 Cosmos North America and Europe. That's also expiring November 9th.
So with that in mind, with the peace of mind and the welcome back credits and knowing that people have had their vacations canceled and are rebooking, how far in advance should somebody book their tour? And do these tours have set tour dates, right? So how far in advance would you recommend somebody book?
Well, historically, it's typically most of our bookings come between 4 and 6 months prior. But right now, if you find a great itinerary that you really want to go on specifically for North America, I would try to book that further out, just because we may have, you know, not as many departures as we historically have, obviously due to the current situation. But I would say typically about 6 months out is close in as you want to go. But we see them anywhere from 6 to 9 months out is typically, I don't know why I said 4 to 6 to 9 months out.
Perfect. And I'm glad you shared that, because I know some people are wondering, you know, how far in advance should I be booking these tours? And so anything else that you think that we missed or that you'd like to add, any little nuggets of wisdom that you want to impart?
Yeah, absolutely. I really appreciate being on. And I know with the Globus family of brands, and we have great partners like Anna, we're all about your satisfaction, your happiness. And with Globus, we've been around for 90 plus years. We're not going anywhere. We will give you a great experience. And we have the greatest partners. So always book with Anna. Don't book directly with us, because Anna can take care of everything, whether you do just Globus or you tack on other parts to a longer itinerary. You never have to worry about that. And a key thing, obviously, with this current situation, you know, when people are getting canceled, our beloved travel advisors that I work with, like Anna, they took care of everything, and they're much more well taken care of when you book with a travel professional. So always book with Anna.
Well, very nice. Thank you, TJ. I really appreciate it. And thank you so much for coming on and sharing all about Globus North America. And I would love for you to come back another time and let's explore Europe a little bit. So I know you have
Absolutely.
so many itineraries, being in business for 90 years. I know we're just exploring just a little tiny piece of what Globus has available to our audience. So thank you again so much, TJ.
Thank you so much, Anna. I really appreciate it.
You're very welcome. And if we've inspired you today, hit that subscribe button below and you'll be notified every week when we go live with new content. And again, this has been Anna's Travel Talk. And until next time, make it a great day.
Thank you.